I have way more discs than I know what to do with. I could sell them for 25 coin each, but that feels like a waste. Instead, I came up with something different: the Borrowed Bag Project. Hi, this is David Salee. I reached out on the Disc Golf Valley Facebook page for those that might be struggling with a tier tournament to post their bag along with the tournament that they wanted help with. I would then build their bag and attempt to win. I would also do commentary for each of the rounds and provide feedback on their disc choices at the end of each tournament. This gave me a great excuse to try out discs that I might not normally use and gives the disc vault a proper workout. This time the bag is provided by Lee and the challenge is Coyote Howl. Coyote Howl will be playing the Coyote Canyon course, both forward and backwards. And so let's take a look at what Lee has provided to us to use on the course. Alright, well, looks like we have a putter, and that's going to be the Sticky Glide Keystone with the very special stamp. So thank you so much for supporting the touring pros out there. That is awesome. Looks super cool. We have the Accurate Wind Fuse. Alright, well, that is one that I'm very familiar with. And a Windbreak Accurate River. Yep, that's another one that I have a lot of experience with. The Glide Windbreak Recoil. Oh, wonderful. It's always fun to see that. A Turn Windbreak Havoc. Now, that's a new one for me. I don't have a whole lot of experience, so it will be interesting to see how many times it actually gets used for me out on the course. The Accurate Glide Pioneer. All right, and looking things over, that looks like that will probably be my musket replacement. Then we have a Glide Skip Ballista. Great disc, goes a long ways, really nice. A Glide Fade Ballista Pro. Well, that's an interesting one. We'll see how often it gets used. Should be pretty fadey. So pros fade quite a bit already, but we'll throw some extra fade in there and see what happens. And then we have the Turn Glide Ballista Pro, which it can be a lot of fun. Kind of straightens out that fade, so that'll be nice. And the Light Glide Ballista Pro. With this particular course, I am very glad to see that in the bag. That is going to get a lot of use and be very handy, especially on hole number 2. So let's start out here. I usually start out with the Windbreak Accurate River as my selection for hole number 1. And I just kind of line up just to the left side of that arch. Even with the 3 wind, should be just fine because windbreak will kind of slow that down. It's nice to be in the shade so we don't have to worry about putting on too much sunscreen. The Keystone is a very straight putter. It's a lot like putting with a mini fuse, so it's kind of nice. Worked out well. All right, now let's grab that Light Extra Glide Ballista Pro, point it right on that rock, give it a little flex, and the idea is to land on top of the rock. I used to land and get all wedged in there and had a lot of fun, but this is a much better way. Thank you, Sasha. Now we're left with 251, so we're going to give this a half go with the river. Just kind of throw it in there, try and get the right height. This is a little low, but there's a really nice backstop in there, so it's not going to go too far. With the Keystone, we're going to just lower it a little bit and then throw it right in the center. So we get to move on to the next hole. All right, hole 3. Well, I don't generally run the eagle for this. I just use the recoil and try and put it out just to the right of that column. Let it land in, and as long as it doesn't slide too far and put that tree in the way, it generally is okay. In this case, I'm really paranoid about that tree, so I'm going to take the fuse and really go over the top of it. I've been tangled with that, and you know what? Let's actually change that to the river. We want a little extra distance. So it actually kind of becomes a little bit of a half go, but thankfully did not clip that tree, and we can just throw this in with the old putter. So far, 3 routine birdies. I really like the recoil for this particular play. Just a little bit of a forehand hyzer, lets it slide out, makes it through generally pretty much every time. So it's pretty routine. This 81's a little bit longer than I like, but I am used to having that wind accurate view, so I can manage to throw it in. Now this hole does give you the opportunity to go for an eagle, and I like to play the direction of the wind. So in this case, I think we'll go ahead and use the glide skip and just try and ante it out there and put it nice and wide, and oh, not wide enough. Guess we're going to work ourselves out of some trouble. So 322 feet, and we are in a sticky situation. How about a glide fade Ballista Pro? So I can throw that nice and wide and hopefully have that come all the way back to give myself a look at the birdie. Yeah, that is a lot of fade. That is a lot of fade. But 83 and nothing in the way, so should be able to just throw this nicely in. And even though it's on top of the rock, just give it a little extra and manage to salvage the birdie out of that. Typically I'll go with the musket on this hole, but since I don't have one, let's try the Pioneer and see how it does. Just kind of line up. It's going to have a little extra fade, so I should be able to throw more towards that rock. Managed to make it right through that little wedge. That's pretty impressive. Pretty fortunate. And 17 feet. Okay, that worked out really well. Yeah, guess it's nice to have an accurate Pioneer handy. So hole 7, just got to get around that column. I've got the Light Glide Ballista Pro. Give it a little bit of flex and it should come back. Oh, it's tracking, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, that'll happen. Sometimes catch it right on the rock and in the water. Gonna have to be a little creative here. I can try and rotate the world. I'm concerned that it's not going to go over the top of that rock. Oh, through the rock? Oh, close actually. You know, that might have worked. It was a little tough to judge the rotational distance on that, but all right, well, there's a bogey. So guess that ruined that total green card. This particular hole, sometimes you can give it a run. I'm just gonna throw the river and throw it straight up the center and try and get the birdie out of this. 24 feet left, so not bad. Pretty routine birdie. That leaves us with the long par 4 with a bunch of arches. So I'm usually going with just a Light Glide Ballista Pro, and thankfully it's in the bag. So the idea is to kind of go at that column and just get around it enough to have a nice shot for the second one. That skip out, this is a little tricky. Oh, okay. If I can go through that column and it won't affect things, then I should be alright. So keep it kind of low, give it some good flex, and hit right into that wall. Okay. Well, probably not the best place. Oh, I guess we're going to roll backwards a little as well. Joy. Alright, well, 297 left. Suggesting the river. Let's give this Havoc a go, you know? Maybe we can get a good run out of this. And not quite high enough. Skip up there. Nope. Gonna hang down. Boy, making a mess, but it is what it is. So, guess we'll go with a par. Not exactly a stellar finish there on the last 3 holes. Let's see where we're at. Oh, okay. Well, we're still alright. We're tied for first. So let's see if we can do a little bit better this next round. Same sort of concept, so still going to go with that Ballista Pro. This time we got a little extra wind, so I should be able to flex it a little bit more. And as long as it skids through there, yep, that works out just fine. So now we have a pretty decent view. The only tricky part is making sure that the disc is thrown low enough that it doesn't hit that top of that arch, because it will definitely stop all your forward momentum. That's pretty nice to get up on top of the shelf, have a 19-footer for birdie. That's a lot better than the previous round. Alright, with the short par 3 over the canyon, just gonna throw the river again, just going for the birdie. The real nice thing is that the B tier players on Coyote Canyon are really not that great. So you do not have to be quite as aggressive at times, and you can stay ahead of them pretty well. As long as you're getting your birdies, it's okay. So this time we got a real helpful win. So this flex should put out there and land nicely. So let's get a little bounce off that wall. Okay, a little stop. Should be okay though. 69 feet. We'll switch to the fuse, lower it a little bit with that, and throw it dead center. Yeah, it'll work. And we're only one stroke ahead of that second place person though, so we got to keep an eye on him. All right, we got a lot of wind that's going to push this, so even with the flex, you know what? That Pioneer, it just didn't push over enough. So 277 left. We get to scramble again. I guess we'll go with the fuse and just kind of toss it out there. Yeah, it's not really a close shot on it for running it. So that leaves us 59. Just a mess, but that's okay. We'll put that in. Stay in. Yes. All right. In for the par. All right. Now we're tied. Yeah. All right. Well, we got to make it dramatic. All right, well, we have a 3-win. Okay, you know what? Let's go with that glide skip again, and let's see if we can put it out far enough to actually make a success. Okay. Oh, well, that was an interesting little kick. Oh, get a good bounce. Oh, kick and a bounce, and oh, are we too close? Oh, we're way too close. Oh. Lucky and unlucky all at the same time. Vertical rotating the world is really tricky, so I'm just going to toss this up there and try and keep it on the top. Oh, hits the metal. And, oh, where's it going? Oh, my goodness. All right, well, 44 feet. Well, at least this time we have a decent enough view. Not going to try and putt it. I'm just going to try and throw this in and hope that it sticks, and it did in this case. So there's a birdie. Oh, nice. Got a couple strokes now. So, again, we'll just use the old default aim and try and make it through. Oh, a little kick, another little kick. How about a kick off that rock? How about one more kick? All right, well, 33 feet, but this is nice, very easy. So that gives us another birdie. We'll see if we stretched any more. Yeah, we actually have a 3-stroke lead now. All right, so again, we'll just go with the recoil. We'll just want to throw it out and keep it to the right of that pillar, have it fade back a little bit, and as long as it doesn't go too far to make that tree in play. This time it landed quite nicely, so we could give this a little half go again. So we'll take the river and see if we can get the right height. Oh, so close, but that's okay. We'll visit that little plant and toss it in and get ourselves a 25-foot birdie putt. Just have 2 holes to go and we have a 4-stroke lead. I'm liking our chances. All right, wind's not too bad. So again, we take that light glide. Thank you, Sasha. And try and bounce off the top of that rock, just like that. Should land us fairly straight in with the opening of the mine. So again, we can give this a little half go with the river. Just have to make sure it doesn't go too high, that it hits the top. And yeah, not too bad. Again, you're just going to have that backstop there. Looks very, very similar to the first round. And in it is. So, just leaves us 1 hole to go. And we're doing quite well. We have plenty of strokes to play with. But we're going to keep it simple, and we're just going to go with that river. Even with the wind being a 3 headwind, the windbreak should keep it from affecting too much. We're going to have a little bit of a throw in. Didn't get quite in the shade, but 68 feet, and even with this 3, we just lower it, pull it back, trust the disc, and in it goes. So that'll finish it off with a birdie. And that completes the 2 rounds, and we wind up being minus 14 for our total. And so we improved between the first round and the second round, and we did get first by 4 strokes. So again, you just don't have to be quite as good on the Coyote courses as you do on some of the other ones. So there's a lot of leniency, which is nice. But let's go ahead and take a look at the bag and do a bit of a recap. All right, well, thank you very much, Lee, for putting this bag together and offering up the challenge of Coyote Howl. Let's take a look at kind of the evaluation of it. I mean, the sticky glide keystone that's in there. It's a putter. I don't normally carry putters, but if you're going to select one, that seems to be just fine. It goes nice and straight. I do generally like having an accurate modifier, but if I am only using it for putting, the accuracy does not take effect quite as much because the accuracy of, works on the vibration of the disc and angles and stuff. So in putting, that's actually not as prevalent. So it works out okay to use that. So yeah, gonna use a putter. That's just fine, just fine. Having the accurate windbreak fuse, that gets as many thumbs up as I can give it, because that is a fantastic disc. Super accurate, super forgiving as far as the wind goes, and so that is what I personally use for all my throw-ins and for my putting as well. So it is just a phenomenal disc. So good choice there. The wind accurate river is awfully nice, gives a great straight shot and useful for all sorts of situations. The glide windbreak recoil gets you a little extra distance, so that's quite nice. Accurate glide pioneer, you get a little extra fade with it. So if it can work for you in situations that the musket is used for other people, then yeah, it's a great disc. So yeah, good choice there. The turn windbreak havoc, I didn't really find a lot of use for it in this particular course, but there may be other times that it is really, really nice. And yeah, I mean, that turn on a havoc makes it go just crazy understable, and so there could be some really good chances to have some rather unique lines with it. Then there's a bunch of ballista pros. So the fade glide and turn glide, having the two of those, I mean, that's an interesting combination as far as, it's like, oh, I want extra finish, or oh, I want it to go a little extra straight. And then the light glide ballista pro, I mean, if you have the ability to have one of those, then that should definitely be in the bag, because that thing is a beast, and it is the longest, furthest flying disc in the air that's in the game, so super, super handy to have. And then that glide skip is really, really nice to be able to have some extra distance. I know pretty much everyone is searching for the Ballista Pro version of that, so if you ever get a chance to get your hands on one of those as a replacement, then I would highly recommend it. I don't have one of them yet, but I do anticipate getting them in hopefully the near future. We'll find out. The only thing that I don't see in the bag that I probably would recommend is having some sort of roll disc. And that's not just for the ability to roll the disc, it's also for the ability to make use of roll as far as being a sticky disc goes. So with the multitude of Ballista Pros, there may be an opportunity in there to kind of take a look and see. Um, you know, the fade glide and the light glide might be enough of an overlap that you could, test out what it's like removing one of those and putting in some sort of roll disc, whether it's a glide roll Ballista Pro or a turn roll Ballista Pro, or pretty much any of the ballistas or the Ballista Pros. You'll find that you might make more use of it than you expect. So that's about it for covering this particular bag and this particular tournament. I hope you find it useful, and thanks again for the opportunity to take a look at it and give it a go. So thank you very much, and I will catch you later.